Welcome everybody to another episode of Circle of the Earth Fellowship. We got another exciting one for you today, so I hope y'all are excited as well. Like always, we'll go ahead and say our hellos before we get into anything, and then we'll get into the show. So without further ado, we'll say hello to our dear sister Marcia. Welcome, Marcia. Oh, my camera. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah. And, we were kind of talking before. You said it was a little difficult for you to come up with some links because everything kind of meshed together or flowed together. And that's, kind of the point we're trying to show here is exactly that, how all of these things that are presented to us as truth, as real events or real facts are often relying on occult inception, origin for the story. So, we're excited to talk about that stuff and much more. But we'll jump over to Kyle. Welcome, brother. Good to see you. Oh, no one's okay. Nope. There's no sound. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize, everyone. I think. Okay, here we go. All right, I apologize
So
for
I got
that.
your sign language.
Nope, you're good now. Just more tough technical difficulties. I've been having some odd stuff go on, but it is what it is. But
Anyway, hello everyone. Let's be back.
Let's get into it. Jump over to Kyle. Welcome, Kyle. I think
good to be back. Yeah.
Sweet. Sorry, bro. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, you're good. I was just saying it's good to be here. I'd like to get into it. It's a good topic.
Yeah, we have a lot of topics and links and stuff and articles to share. So yeah, let's get moving. Last but not least, we got Frankie B. What's up, brother? Welcome.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I was off the last couple weeks, but I'm back and excited to jump into this topic. So I hope everyone's had a blessed week, and I was on vacation, so I'm raring to go. I'm ready, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, absolutely. Sweet. All right, so let's do a little housekeeping real quick. I'm going to throw up the screen share. We'll go through that quickly, and then we will get into which one we want. This one. Then we will quickly get into the show. Let's pull this up. So something weird happened. I'm not really sure. It even was kind of happened tonight when I was trying to get ready for the stream. That was part of the issue. But anyways, last stream didn't stream on Take on the World. So those over on Take on the World, I'll download that video and re-upload it so y'all didn't miss it. Maybe something happened in the background. I'll have to check that out. It kind of was a shock to me that it wasn't there, but who knows? We'll look into that a little bit later on. I am still working on the links to the videos, so bear with me a little bit, and then I'll put all the links out. I'll update all the recent episodes with a link that will take you to our Discord, and each episode will have its own little part where you can grab those links and go watch those videos for yourself or share them with friends and family. So that is in the works. So just be a little patient. I hope to just do it at once. I promised last Friday that I'd have it done, but it was just for that episode. But I want to get it a little more systematic so that it will go on easily in the future. So still working on that. So there is no comments to read, but of course, I want to take a minute and shout out to Chris and Liz Bailey over on Take on the World. They allow us to share our puzzle pieces with their community, with their family. So we do appreciate them giving us sharing their platform. So I just want to show them some love. And then, of course, we have our own channel, which you may be watching on, Circle of the Earth Fellowship. And we got a lot of great content so far in the season 2. Definitely check it out. We also have content, shorts, and various other things. So lots to check out. Total of 127 videos. So yeah, awesome. And then so on our last stream, it was episode 4, Secret Societies. And let's check out. It says great. Oh, it's still loading. Thank you all for your support, Moonglow. We appreciate that, sister. We really do. It really does help us out. Emissary of Elohim said, trust the Most High and His Son, the living Word. Read your Bible, learn it, do it. Invest in the real truth, the no matter what man says, keep the Most High Yah's word first. Amen, brother. Yeah, and Daniela Moglin said, great info and awesome discussion. Appreciate that. Deep Holes said, fascinating episode, very learned panel, enjoyable, informative presentation, quickly becoming one of my favorite channels. Thank you. That means a lot that people are digging the content. So I remember everyone is welcome to join the channel and join the panel if you feel like you have something to offer. And if you'd just like to kind of join the conversation behind scenes, definitely check out our Discord as we have an after show after every stream. So definitely a place where we can talk a little bit more openly without any censorship, at least from the YouTube side. So GrapplerTube, I mean. And then we also have a merch channel, links in the description if you'd like to support. We definitely suggest Bible Gateway as a resource, Bible Hub as a resource, as well as sacredtext.com. Here you can get multiple different versions. You can get different lexicons, different concordances, and over here on Sacred Text, you can get the so-called Apocryphal or Deuterochronicle. So totally butchered that, but that being said, definitely a cool resource. I suggest checking out the Book of Jubilees as well as the Book of Enoch. Both great places to start. All right, that being said, we'll go ahead and drop this for a second and kind of get into an opening about what we're going to be talking about, and then start sharing some links and some articles itself. So awesome. So of course, episode Do You Believe? Episode 5, Occult Scientism. And as last week we were talking about secret societies, and we showed a lot of connection between like Aleister Crowley and JPL of Jet Propulsion's laboratory. You know, the connections that they had to the modern society, to the governing class, right? And before that, right, we showed NASA, same type of connections there, and leading us to here. And this is a big topic because what I've come across to a lot of people who are Christians is they often are intermingling their belief system, the scriptures, with the outside world, with the knowledge of the world, with the religions of the world, and scientism is just that. And so in this episode, we're going to show you various connections from different viewpoints, from videos and articles, as well as showing you from the horse's mouth itself, things that they brag about and show openly. So I hope y'all are excited to talk about. We're excited to discuss it. And so make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. that really does help the channel grow and get out there. So for those that do, we really appreciate it. And yeah. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. I'll get that set up real quick, and we will get into this information. I believe it's this one. Nope. Give me a second, people. Pull up the right one, which is this one. Where's that at? There we go. So let's jump all the way back to here. So we're going to start out with some videos, and then we're going to end it with a little research together. We're going to play a little fun game of spot the grabble, and again, right out of the horse's mouth. So let's go ahead and put this up and play it and see what we...
What's the rule? What are the rules to that game? You didn't tell me about.
So the rules of that game, I'll go over that when we start playing the game. All right. And I'll give you all many examples of this game, of how we play it, and then it'll be up to y'all to spot the grabble. So yeah, let's go. So we're gonna show a few brief shorts. And then kind of talk about them as we go through. So let's start out with this. I'm gonna actually go backwards because that's how I opened in yours. So that's just how they open. So I'm gonna go through them backwards so it makes sense. All right, here, let's go. We got Steal the Bike Tyson.
If you knew nothing about science and you read, say, the Bible, the Old Testament, which in Genesis is an account of nature. That's what that is. And I said to you, give me your description of the natural world based only on this. You would say the world was created in 6 days and that stars are just little points of light, much lesser than the sun. And in fact, they can fall out of the sky. One of the signs that the second coming is that the stars will fall out of the sky and land on Earth. So to even write that means you don't know what those things are. You have no concept of what the actual universe is.
Real quickly, I got Marsha. I'm getting echo from you. All right, let's restart this. I think it's gonna play. Got quite a few links up. Interesting. Let's see if I can get it to play.
And you read, say, the Bible, the Old Testament, which in Genesis is an account of nature. That's what that is. And I said to you, give me your description of the natural world based only on this. You would say the world was created in 6 days and that stars are just little points of light, much lesser than the sun. And in fact, they can fall out of the sky. One of the signs that the second coming is that the stars will fall out of the sky and land on Earth. So to even write that means you don't know what those things are. You have no concept of what the actual universe is. So everybody who tried to make proclamations about the physical universe based on Bible passages got the wrong answer. So what happened was when science discovers things and you want to stay religious or you want to continue to believe that the Bible is unerring, what you would do is you would say, well, let me go back to the Bible and reinterpret it. Then you'd say things like, oh, they didn't really mean that literally. They meant that figuratively. So this whole sort of reinterpretation of how figurative the poetic passages of the Bible are came after science showed that this is not how things unfolded. If you knew nothing about...
So something really interesting about this real quick that you may not have intentionally put out, maybe you did, but is how in essence he's kind of making a dichotomy here, right? He's saying you got the Christian perspective and then you got science, right? And so he gives you those two dichotomies. So, and then he goes on to tell you that what we know in science is exactly opposite of what it says in the scriptures. So in a roundabout way, right, he's literally telling you what we believe is contrary to what is in scripture. Yeah, and obviously he's a good debater, a good, a good actor. So of course he's able to, deliver it in the smooth, way that he's able to. But that being said, it's pretty open. Secondly, I like how he points out how now our modern Christianity are people that did that were then forced, in order to have those two mindsets be melded together, they had to force interpretation on scripture. And so now we get our modern Christianity, where we're seeing things that are outright contradiction elevated and shown into in our modern society. It's quite intense. Thoughts, anyone?
No, it's just, yeah.
All right, let's jump over to the next one.
Charles Lyell invented the geologic column. He was a lawyer from New York who used his skills to lie to the public and invent a story about deep time being true. After he died, they found his personal journals, and they told a much different story than he told the public. He admitted that he created the entire thing to make people doubt Noah's flood and to rid the sciences of Moses. He wanted people to hate the Bible and make us all believe that we were related to primates, specifically the orangutan. Charles Darwin created evolution with the help of Lyell's book, Principles of Geology. Apostle Peter actually predicted all of this. He said that people in the last days will say, all things will continue as they were from the beginning. What term did Charles Lyell coin? The present is key to the past. In other words, what we see happening today has always been happening in the past. That's uniformitarianism, people. Charles Lyell invented the geologic column.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to dive into this guy a little bit more, but we definitely know that evolution, again, has ties to multiple pagan kind of theologies or universes, however you want to describe them. Now, of course, they describe these more in a mythological, a legendary way, but at the same time, it's that same core belief. And you definitely see connection later on. Go ahead, Kyle.
I mean, what's the difference between what the Egyptians believed and how the beginning life started out the Nile River, and like it would literally evolve to where it is, versus a lightning strike striking the ocean in the perfect way to where the primordial ooze of the early Earth just perfectly forms together all the molecules, proteins, and everything needed to form the first single-celled organism, just to have that be able to find something to eat and reproduce right afterwards. It's just, both are very fantastic, if you ask me.
Oh yeah. It's so fantastical.
It's believable then.
That's the miracle. That's the miracle. Just like the globe Earth is the miracle. Sorry, Frankie, go ahead.
Yeah, I think all these things that now evolution, all this is just to hide another way of hiding our past. They really don't know they really don't want us to know the potential this realm has to offer us. So being, born of an amoeba, and then, from apes, we evolved into our civilization, is just another way of hiding the truth that, this realm has a lot of rich history that they don't want us to know.
Yeah, and well, not only that, we were talking about before the stream too, is they take good things and they corrupt them, and then they take corrupted things and make them good, and we'll definitely kind of show that later. And I think it's their form of mocking us, and that's why I feel like that's why they do it the way they do it, is a form of mockery. But
yeah,
all right, yeah, let's keep going. We got another video here. Let's see what we got
going. The history of alchemy itself divides into two distinct branches that have descended from antiquity, possibly originating in Egypt. The word chem in both chemistry and alchemy is an ancient name for Egypt, and we find it used in the Bible in such terms as Elohim, and of course the deity of Islam is Allah. the divine prefix would indicate that alchemy is a spiritual art, a divine secret science. The history of
Ooh,
alchemy
a
itself.
secret science.
Secrets. Is that the alchemy one?
Yeah. And
Oh.
another thing in alchemy, like, and we've kind of talked about this before, the pinnacle of alchemy is the sorcerer's stone, right? To gain immortal life and to be able to basically create all your wishes to come true, right? Because if you can turn, materials to gold, right,
Oh.
then that buys you power. And, so what's really kind of interesting about that is when we talked about, secret societies and the other parts before, is how that's kind of an echo of Nimrod, right? Who became Gibberim. He became something higher than
Right.
just a human. And you could kind of say that if a human was able to do something to their body so that, for all intents and purposes, not saying they couldn't be killed, but that they could live forever, makes me bring a connection to him, So I just thought that was interesting. Another connection to the occult, of course.
Of course.
Let's keep trucking along.
Women were told to listen to their god, the Lord of the Rings, so they were wearing an ear ring. Men were to get married before Saturn, their god, so they would wear a wedding ring. Consequently, the king would be crowned before Saturn. Saturn would be the round crown or the corona, the ring. We know that Saturn was referred to as El, E-L. El is a name that was given to the planet Saturn. And therefore, if you were worshiping Saturn, you represent the law, you are referred to in church today as an elder. How did you get to be an elder? You got to be an elder because you were one of the elites. How did you get to be an elite? You got elected. Because through elections, all of our system is based on occult, mystical words and terms going back to the planet Saturn, going back to the Phoenician Canaanite system of banking. Women were told to listen.
Yeah, and we know what all... of course he says banking, but we know what their whole culture was not like, not just their banking. What was
That's
that?
another thing. The
Go ahead, Frank.
language, spelling, there's spells in all these words.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They're literally they're literally conforming you to what they want you to believe by using all these words and coming up with the English language.
Yeah, and it created a foundation, right? Because we, for all intents and purposes, think in those words, right? So it's even within ourselves that we kind of view and think about the world within those terms, within those words. So it puts us kind of like on a base system that's, has lies or deceit kind of baked into it. But, of course, overcomers overcome.
With all these words. They're casting spells like currency, cell. All these words have true meanings, but they don't give you the real meaning. Like a cell is a battery cell. It's a charge. There's so many words. Currency. Magnetic force flows on a currency. They changed it to money. Your money is a currency, but it's actually a electrical force going through this flat realm. That's
kind of interesting when you said that. Like, you get charged with a crime and then put into a cell.
Yeah. Your currency runs into banks, runs along the banks. It's.
Yep.
Yep. And if you have cash, you have liquidity.
Yeah, exactly. It's all the fluid terms that they use, and they're mystics, so of course they would have esoteric meanings behind all the words that they use. Just like in the legal system, it's a totally different language they're speaking in there, and you have to know the definitions in the way that they use those words in order to understand them. You have to be a lawyer. You have to be trained under the bar to know. It's
Right,
it's just what people do.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. An example of that is like if you ever get pulled over and a cop, reads the charges to you and then it says, "Do you
You
understand?"
understand?
He's
You
not,
stand under me.
yeah, you're base if you say yes, I understand, thinking, do I
Right. And
Comprehend. Yeah, do
yeah,
I
do
comprehend
I
the words he
comprehend the
said?
words that came out of his mouth? And you say yes. Well, you just agreed that you are under those charges. So
Right.
You're agreeing to the charges. He's asking you if you understand. And when you say yes, now
They're
you're
saying
agreeing to the charges.
you stand under the
yes,
authority. If you
yeah,
yes,
understand, you stand under.
yeah,
And so they like to flip things and reverse them and give them dual meanings, and yeah, they're sneaky.
yeah. And so that's why there's the legal law is even though it uses the same words, those words have different meanings. And so, yeah, the system from ground up, from foundation up, were based upon that kind of. But I said understand. I didn't say did you comprehend?
Right.
So
Yep.
yeah,
Which is
always
why
gotta
they'll
grapple.
repeat those questions over and over.
Yep. Yep. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, wrong button.
The esoteric is information which is intended for or likely to be understood by only a small number of people with specialized knowledge or interest, or occulted. It is mysterious. It is beyond the range of ordinary knowledge, experience, or perception. It is that which is communicated only to the initiated. The initiated means those who have begun. It's understanding the laws of nature and our connection to them, the self's connection to them. Okay, and as a result, we are aligning all of our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions toward the goal of the evolution, not only of our individuated self, but the evolution of all beings. This is what is known as the minor knowledge of the occult. The minor arcana. Arcana is a Greek word that means knowledge. The esoteric is...
Oh, Lanta, they spelled it out quite well there, but I also feel like that was a little gravelly. It's like, this is just the basic laws of nature. And I think of course believers tap into those things, but is it from like a perspective of faith, right? Like, for instance, the stars, like we know that he created them and they have some effect on us. What does that mean and how it works isn't necessarily for us, but knowing that his, being awe of his creation, to think about all those different ways in which he thought about us in creation is amazing. But see, they want to quantify it and teach it as the secret mystery religion, so that you can obtain the knowledge, so you can obtain the long life, etc., etc., etc. It's quite a tempting offer that they give you, but it's of course a Faustian deal from conception.
right.
All right. See what else we got here.
Wait. Say that last sentence again.
Everything that we see is a projection of what's happening within our own mind, our own conscious, and all of the conscious together. That's what God is. God is not someone off up in the sky that's preaching down, looking down, and be like, you sin, electric bolt, you're going to hell. No, God is a collective consciousness of everyone. I'm God, you're God. Everyone here is God.
This is Hindu.
Okay. Now, if what you say is right, that I cannot perceive reality, I just make up reality in my head with my perception.
It doesn't mean you make it up, but you are able to interpret the reality differently than how you might.
Wait. Say that last sentence again.
Everything that we see is a projection of what's happening within our own mind, our own conscious, and all of the conscious together. That's what God is. God is not someone off up in the sky that's preaching.
So the guy who's, SAing, a person they shouldn't be, no one should be, but you know what you get what I'm saying? Like, that's just God experiencing it.
Yeah, it's subjective morality. I mean, he's on his own path. everyone leads to the source together at one point in time. All the fragments return to their source. So everyone's just, just on their own journey, man.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's quite crazy because they say those things like they're wise, but they're literally such foolish statements.
Don't they? They just sit there and talk like, but don't you see? I mean, I got it. You're not understanding.
Yeah, he's like,
they don't know that they're just they don't know that they're just repeating the same Brahmanistic doctrines from the Hindu and Vedic religions, as well as other ones like Gnosticism,
Yep.
and Kabbalism.
Yep.
Right.
It's no different, and they're saying it from a point of like, this is proven, as you were saying, Marcia. It's like, we know this is how it works. It's such a condescending way, when at the same time it's like he is then agreeing to then say all of the horrible things that could go on, that's actually part of God, and it's God experiencing it, right? And so it's so ridiculous.
It is.
We got one more short to go here from Marcia, and then we'll get into more
In
stuff.
history, were a lot of really successful and well-known, did they study the occult?
It was a mixed bag. So, for instance, astrology was practiced by basically everybody in the Middle Ages. It was taught in universities. Alchemy was never taught in the universities. It ranged from people who professionally did things like make paint in class, people we would now recognize as sort of like practical chemists, all the way to very esoteric alchemists attempting to discover the philosopher's stone and elixirs to extend life, perhaps indefinitely. Then you had ceremonial magicians, and then people who did things like what we would call Kabbalah. Now, once you get into the world of medieval ceremonial magic, that's when you begin to get into things that you're not going to want people knowing that you're doing. Things like the Inquisition are about. You don't want to get burned at the stake, which did happen from time to time.
In history, were a lot of really successful...
There's one after this. It's kind of a funny one. I said this one's funny.
I will try to pull it up.
Oh, it is kind of funny. Just to have a little levity after this. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me
But it's all on the whatever. It's my very last one.
I grabbed it.
Okay.
Let's get rid of that. Pull this back up. Yeah, he was straight up telling you, right? That was like the whole thing that they kind of try to sell is and they sell it in a way that makes it almost forgettable, but like in a way that benefits them. Is they basically sell saying, hey, all that stuff that y'all considered to be magic back then, that y'all burned the people at the stake for, all of that was just science. But we didn't know it. It seemed like magic because the general people were fools, and you had these, super smart occult, secret society scientists who brought us all of this knowledge, which now lets us fly airplanes and have cell phones, and so it was just a misunderstanding. So what's interesting about that is they're telling you its roots right there, but they're saying it in such a way that it makes people doubt, be like, oh, they were just scientists trying to figure out how to stop people from being poisoned, whatever. And they're so good at it.
Yeah.
Gotta give them that.
These are what? The top 10
funniest combinations in alchemy too.
And now, yeah.
All right, let's check this out. Cheese and sky, moon, pasta wire, spaghetti, rat and sea, seagull. Human in light bulb, idea, steamboat iceberg, Titanic, Olympic, alchemist small, little alchemist,
it's
snowman
silly.
sun, puddle, Carrot.
Carrot.
What? Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Real cheese. Pizza.
Pizza.
Real pizza.
Chicken egg. Philosophy.
Philosophy. What happened? Chicken or the egg?
The great mysteries of life.
Yeah, it was just a silly one. So.
Awesome. All right, let's we got some videos that Kyle shared for us, so we'll go through those real quick. Not real quick, but we'll go through those. And if you kind of want to talk a little bit about it, Kyle, what we're looking into, what we're going to be talking about, love to hear it.
Yeah, so this gentleman believes that we need to radically reinterpret Genesis because of how he interprets the Kabbalah and what modern science has proven to be true. So I'll just preface it with that, but it becomes self-explanatory.
We humans like to think of ourselves as the pinnacle of creation. Our brain contains 100 billion cells, linked by 100 trillion synaptic connections. Single-cell organism is a primate that developed in Africa, splitting away from the chimpanzee line about 7 million years ago. We still share with the chimps 99% of our active genes. The Big Bang is a theory. To cosmologists, it offers the most convincing explanation of the evolution of our universe, the best approximation to truth that we currently possess. It might be proven wrong. More likely, it will eventually be enfolded within some larger theory. The scientific consensus is that the Big Bang theory is correct, but within a specific domain, a specific realm. The evolution of our universe from maybe 1/1000th of a second after its origin up to the present. Whatever happened before that first fraction of a second lies beyond the limits of the theory. The term Big Bang suggests a definite beginning, a finite time ago, but the theory doesn't really extend that far. The ultimate origin of the universe is still unfathomed. Today, many cosmologists speculate about multiple universes, multiple beginnings. If this is so, then maybe we should translate the opening words of the Bible not as in the beginning, but in a beginning, God created heaven and earth. In fact, this could represent a more literal rendering of the original Hebrew, Bereshit, in a beginning. Science has no consensus on the ultimate origin. Some theories espouse a well-defined beginning. Others, like Stephen Hawking's, do not. But both suggest a radically new reading of Genesis. If God spoke the world into being, the divine language is energy. The alphabet, elementary particles. God's grammar, the laws of nature. Many scientists have sensed a spiritual dimension in the search for these laws. For example, for Einstein, discovering the laws of nature was a way to discover how God thinks. But does the universe have a purpose? Is there any meaning to our existence? Why should we live ethically? Here, cosmology can't help us very much, and Charles Darwin makes our problem worse.
You're muted, Vader.
You muted, Vader.
Oh, sorry. Just to break it up a little bit, I think that's kind of a good place to start it. Is this connects right back to, excuse me, not the last video, but the previous one, when the guy was saying that God is in everything, is in every interaction, etc., blah blah blah. And he just brought up, like, why should we live ethically? Why should we have morals? If this is the case. So right here, he's already showing you that the line of thinking that they're going down leads to this idea of moral subjectivity. And it's quite interesting when you look at the cultures around the world. modern and, in ancient history, and see this is nothing new under the sun. And we kind of hit on that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think he does a good job explaining what the state of mind, regardless of what your faith is or belief. If you believe in the creation system of the world, that we evolved from nothing, that the Big Bang was our our ultimate beginning, and there's all these other parallel universes, then I mean he's not wrong to think that you're going to have to also reinterpret Genesis and the rest of Scripture to fit that.
Yep. And we see that in modern Christianity, and we see that within, just general public, right? Where even if they don't claim to be a Christian, they still share that half of the view with Christians, right? That God created, the Big Bang was God saying, let there be light, right? So they still can meld it in. And it's interesting because, like, we literally see you're not supposed to be tying these two things together. And with the moral subjectivity, right, then you see that right there, right? Things start not becoming bad, the things that it says to don't do. And a lot of us, with the true earth in our mind, when we went to Scripture and saw this, right, like we had to relearn some things, because we're like, if we have to take him seriously when it's talking about creation, we have to take him seriously when he's talking about what you should and shouldn't do. So at least I can. That's true for myself, but it's there.
Yep, I agree.
All right, let's continue watching this.
Are we really different from other animals? Can we transcend violence and savagery? As the wife of an Anglican bishop remarked upon hearing of Darwin's theory, descended from apes? My dear, let us hope that it is not true. But if it is, let us pray that it will not become generally known. Her comment echoes the fear that knowing the true nature of our ancestors threatens to unravel the social fabric. We have lost our myth. A myth is a story that helps us make our experience comprehensible by offering a construction of reality. It's a narrative that transforms chaos into order.
Like, what do you say? Like all those key words that he's like, really hitting home. Dude, it's like he's pumping these grabble ideas into people's head, and the pictures he's painting is straight up material nihilism, right?
Exactly.
And he's connecting it. He's like, hey, don't share that it's material nihilism, because if we realize that it's material nihilism, we're gonna have problems. It's material nihilism. Like, so what? You're trying to cause the problems, Mr. Grabbler here?
Exactly.
Let's keep going.
We're not content to see events as unconnected, as inexplicable. We crave to understand an underlying order in the world. A myth tells us why things are the way they are and where they came from. Such an account is not only comfortable, assuring, and socially useful, it's essential. Without a myth, there is no meaning or purpose to life, just vast emptiness.
Dude, that's full nihilism. The world is vast emptiness. He says we have to construct a mythology or everything is pointless.
Meaningless, yeah, exactly.
So there's those words are obviously absurd, but at the same time, the dichotomy he's creating is that is what's true, but we must lie to ourselves in order for it to be bearable.
Exactly.
And so
like the universe looks like it's, the stars and sun and moon are spinning around us. It feels like we're not moving, but I don't want to accept the fact that there might be a creator up there who will judge me for my actions and my words. So therefore, I will construct a new mythical reality around what I see.
Yeah, and his mythical reality, right, is that everything, all the natural laws, all that, we see those as proof of a creator, but they're actually not proof of anything. So
That's
he's
right.
actually rejecting truth even in the science he's so called standing behind. It's so insane.
Yep.
All right, let's keep going.
Myths do more than explain. They guide our mind, conditioning how we think, even how we perceive. Myths come to life by serving as models for human behavior. But what do we do when the myths of tradition have been undone? When the God of the Bible seems so unbelievable? Is there really someone up there in control, charting the course of history, reaching down to rescue those in need, tallying up our good and bad deeds for reward and punishment? Many people have shed the security of traditional belief. They're more likely to experience a gaping, aching void than the satisfying fullness of God's presence. If they believe in anything, perhaps it's science and technology. And what does science provide in exchange for that belief? Progress in every field except for one, the ultimate meaning of life. Some scientists insist that there is no meaning. As one leading physicist has written, the more we know about the universe, the more it is evident that it is pointless and meaningless. The Big Bang is a contemporary creation story. Energy turns into matter, which turns back into energy. There's no precise plan for creation worked out in advance. Rather, by an intricate and unrepeatable combination of chance and necessity, humanity has evolved from and along countless other forms of life over billions of years. Ultimately, our evolutionary history is uplifting because it enables us to see that we are part of a wholeness, a oneness.
Oneness.
To be religious means, in the words of another contemporary physicist, to have an intuitive feeling of the unity of the cosmos. This oneness is grounded in scientific fact. We are made of the same stuff as all of creation. Everything that is, was, or will be started off together as one infinitesimal point, the cosmic seed.
Oh my gosh.
The ultimate nihilism, that everything just came from a speck of nothing.
A speck.
We humans like to think of ourselves.
That's hard to listen to. And his this voice.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
No, but it shows you, like, I think his voice was literally perfect for what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Why have any type of life in your voice when you believe that all creation came from a pointless speck of oneness that exploded into all creation? Like, what's the point of it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. He sounds like an Eeyore.
And if that's possible, isn't it possible that many specks exploded in many times and places and past, present, future, blah, 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 blah?
Becomes more meaningless by the, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. They tell you. They're up front exactly what they believe. All right, so we got science and Kabbalah. So a little step in that right direction for the grabblers. Let's check it out.
When I first made the correlations between Kabbalah and science, I was stunned.
We do know that Isaac Newton had access to certain mystical texts, certain texts of the Kabbalah.
Well, the Kabbalistic description of creation is coming from a single little point, from a speck, and of having matter form and time and space form all together at the very beginning. This sounds very much to me like the description of the Big Bang.
I couldn't believe that the Kabbalists could derive these truths without really knowing any mathematics or physics.
Okay. He did. It's so funny. Oh my God. He's literally like, how could they have possibly came to the same conclusions that we have came to? I wonder how that's possible. Is literally so retarded. Oh my God. Oh, All right, let's last some more.
It is certainly true that in string theory, the number 10 is the dimension of space-time for supersymmetrical string theories, and 26 for bosonic string theories stand out as a requirement of the mathematics.
All the things that could destroy string theory, all the things that do destroy every rival theory to string theory, they are all eliminated in precisely 10 and 26 dimensions. These dimensions are magic. We physicists don't know where these dimensions come from.
The Zohar says those things. It could have been a lucky guess. I don't know.
The Zohar speaks of impure fats and pure fats, and that relates very well to modern medicine's view of the two types of cholesterol.
Now you tell me, how come that's the only text who 2,000 years old can have that kind of information so clearly there?
Okay, how much you want to bet that one of these guys... Oh, go ahead.
Hey, isn't Ben Stiller the Zohar?
Say that again. I'm sorry. Your voice is
weird. Isn't Ben Stiller the Zohar? Remember the movie The Zohar with Ben Stiller?
No, that's Adam Sandler.
Was it Adam Sandler? I thought it was Ben Stiller.
Yeah, I think you're right, Peter.
Yeah, it was Adam Sandler, but
I thought Ben Stiller was in that too.
He might be. I don't remember in some fashion. But what's really interesting, we got a doctor here, right? And so I'm gonna segue because I think this is a good little segue. We just so happen to have a doctor right here. I'm gonna pull something else up really quickly. Now that doctor is in a building, most likely with this somewhere on the building or in the logo. If you ever seen the Babylon, I keep wanting to say Babylon Rising, but the Investigating Babylon series on Kingdom and Context, there is an episode about this very here staff, now the staff of Hermes. Now, we'll get into it a little bit, just looking at this. So just briefly from a search of double caduceus, we get the caduceus versus the stab of Ecliptus. We get this, what does the two-snake medical symbol mean? It says the caduceus is the traditional symbol of Hermes, and it features two snakes winding around on often winged staff. It is often used as a symbol of medicine, especially in the United States, despite its ancient and consistent association with trade, liars, thieves, eloquence, negotiation, alchemy, and wisdom. Now, funny enough, when the Greeks and the Egyptians met each other, they came up with, they're like, hey, it's kind of like that Spider-Man meme, and it's like, you, right? Where they realize that Hermes and Anubis are one and the same god.
Hermanubis?
Yep. So here on Wikipedia says Hermanubis is a Greco-Egyptian god who conducts the souls of the dead to the underworld. He is synchronism of Hermes and the Greek mythology and Anubis from Egyptian mythology. Hermes and Anubis, similar responsibilities. They both were conductors of souls, led to Hermanubis. He was popular during the time of the Roman doctrine domination over Egypt, depicting having a human body and a jackal head and sacred caduceus that belonged to the Greek god Hermes. He represents the Egyptian priesthood. He is engaged in the investigation of truth. Truth, what they can get away with. But anyways, so another thing with the, here we got the double caduceus. This is the Hippocratic Oath. A lot of people don't know that this is what they make an oath, right? They make this oath when they become a physician. And, I don't really want to read it, but by the first thing there, it says, I swear by Apollo. And so the reason why this is, we're talking about it, it's not just their lies about the stars and cosmology and what comes from that, and we're definitely going to talk about that. But it's also, in this medical area now. Not something I'm super excited about particularly showing, but I feel like it will kind of drive the point home of what we're kind of dealing with here, because we have the medical symbol. It's associated with medicine. It's associated with the god Apollo. They have the Hippocratic Oath, in which the first god that they're swearing this oath to is indeed Apollo. And then here we got the Baphomet. And the Baphomet has this metal caduceus, double caduceus, the same rod serpents, the rings. And of course, I'm just going to show that briefly. But point being is it goes all the way to straight up Satanism. So this isn't a new concept in Satanism. It is something that is derived of old. And, it kind of makes sense that they do it that way, right? Because for at least a lot of us here, we kind of believe that all that old stuff isn't done away with, right? There's nothing new under the sun. So the laws of the people of Israel have not changed. So those who are going to be that, wild vine that is grafted to the garden and cultivated, it's a part of the family. So
do you think they modernized that Hippocratic Oath at all, or do you think they say that oath verbatim now?
I think that they do, probably at some places. I'm sure there are people who wouldn't say, no, I'm not going to swear to this, but I'll swear to this.
Hello? Wow.
Yeah, I think some of them are in it, right? Definitely if they're in a secret society, definitely if they're, skull and bones and stuff, they're not going to have any problems wearing these oaths. They believe in this.
Not if they're handing out jabbies, like it's nothing.
Yeah. All right, so we'll get to the rest of that later. Let's jump back over here to this video, and we will keep trucking.
They knew things about the universe that took us till now to discover.
I think it's rather intriguing that the Zohar mentions cholesterol and mentions the liver and bile.
What I like about Kabbalah is that it has a rather profound view of a creator, of a divine being that transcends all possible notions that we could have.
There can be an interface between science and spirituality.
The Zohar's notion that light is a realm of no time and no space is quite consistent with special relativity.
What's been stopping it so far are, number one, the lack of a good concept, and I think the Kabbalah is offering that now in the context of modern science, and two, a reticence on the part of both scientists and people in religion to mix the two.
It's rather amazing, this uncanny reflection of some of the most advanced cosmology coming from our satellites, coming from our atom smashers, coming from our blackboards, that are mirrored in the Zohar and ancient Kabbalistic texts.
So real quick, it's it's so insane, because it's like when we kind of went here, let me make this smaller. When we went from, being very, I feel like more literal to scripture, to where they started to have to do those mental gymnastics in order for us to, kind of blend our beliefs together. I think when they did that, I think it was almost set up, right? Because I think when, these scientists basically saying, like, I love Kabbalah because it's talking about this ultimate creator, because they go into it kind of assuming that there is no creator, but they're seeing the natural law, they're seeing these things, and they have to do something with it. And I feel like that the Kabbalah was almost a mind set up so that when they would get to it and come to these realizations, they would find that truth also in the Kabbalah, which said it thousands of years ago. And so to them, it's like this revelation, that is this discovery that that God exists, right? But then it's painted down this certain path of what God is, right? And so that's why we get the God is everything, experiencing everything, you know, all the time. And so it's quite nihilistic, right? Very materialism, very nihilistic.
Yep.
Let's keep
Yeah, I agree. I think that was the end of it.
Is that the end? Not my rights, someone else's. But we are commenting on this this stuff, so we got the Zohar. Zohar. I got another little video here. We'll go ahead and check it out.
In ancient times, they called Kabbalah mysticism. But if you tried to explain the computer just even 200 years ago, or the fax machine or the internet, they'd call it mysticism. So Kabbalah spoke about concepts that were literally not just centuries, but even millennia ahead of time. So for example, the Zohar, 2,000 years ago, which is 1,500 years before Columbus, the Zohar spoke about a round earth. To quote, "The whole world rolls around like a ball, so that some people are above and some are below."
How dare you?
The Zohar said 2,000 years ago that true reality exists in 10 dimensions. Can you imagine? We just learned about dimensions in this century, that there's other dimensions we can't see. So Kabbalah said true reality exists actually.
I have a question here. This makes no sense. He says, we just learned in this century, but the Kabbalah is thousands of years old.
Right.
Didn't that mean
we just discovered,
you just rediscovered the Kabbalah?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
You just rediscovered what they already have been talking about? What's the difference? It's literally preposterous.
They just learned how to interpret it. That's all.
Yeah, and we already talked about, because they have this whole mythology, right? Because evolution, the cosmology, the Big Bang, all of those things are intrinsically tied into each other, right? So when they have to do that because we see creation, and so they have to come up with all of these, tangents at why it is the way it is. But what my point was that they're just rediscovering it. They're not discovering anything new. There's nothing new under the sun. So let's keep going.
I wish he was in a space station so he could be floating around saying all this BS. You know what I mean? This is like real hook line BS. I mean, anyone that falls for this, it's really got to be like stuffing their face with McDonald's every day. It's like ridiculous.
Taking all the free jabs.
Yeah. Yeah. Jab after jab after jab.
Actually, in 10 dimensions. Now, why is that important? They said, if you look around with your 5 senses, we only detect 1% of true reality. The remaining 99% is hidden, says Kabbalah, in these other dimensions.
Kabbalah.
In ancient times, they called Kabbalah.
No, it's just playing over again. Oh my gosh, they literally were showing, their special boy symbols, right?
Well,
and adding the Earth as a globe.
How do you know about
the true life?
They're unseeable. They're not science. They're not this. How do they get?
And I think them ending it with this picture. Let me pull that back up for everyone.
Yeah.
So them ending with this picture is a real good time to bring this up.
Yeah.
So we've all seen this. We were all taught this. That the reason why we have winters and summers is because of that 23.4 degree tilt. And that, of course, is of the globe Earth. As it spins around the itself, as it spins around the sun, and it needs this 23.4 degree tilt. So of course we know, if you don't know, the difference between here and here would be 66 degrees.
0.6.
0.6. But you know what, something, looking at like this, look at this, guys. By dividing it the way that they do, they literally create 66.6, 66.6, 66.6, 60.6, 66.6. There's actually 4 in that, the way that they are dissecting this line. And so, okay, it's just a coincidence that it's 66.6 degrees off of 90. That's not the actual tilt. The tilt is 23.4. But it's just coincidence, right? It's just coincidence that so happens to be it. Just like it's so coincidence that our physical reality, right? Our physical reality
is just 99%.
Is just 1% of the 10 dimensions.
Yeah. It's very coincidental, like how the North Star is able to stay firmly in place while we have a 23.4 degree tilt in our, 360 degree orbit. But that's how this all works, man. It's just random chaos.
Because you got to remember, even though it's random chaos, that random chaos is working as such a way that it appears like that the North Pole, that Polaris is standing still. That's just because the light is millions of years old, thousands of light years,
Intelligence seeking random chaos. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just seen a video on Twitter of, the 22 angels that are in the Book of Enoch. They fell to Mount Hermon. And the logical is it's 33 degrees longitude exactly where they fell. That 33 degrees is a numeral psyop also for the Freemasons.
Mount Hermon?
Yeah, Mount Hermon.
Yeah. 33 north.
22 of them, 22 stars in the Paramount. Pitster's logo of the stars running across the water, and then they circle the Mount Hermon. It's all pointing to 33 degrees.
There's actually 32 stars. You have to include a non-star for it to be 33, but I still get your point. They love their
fallen angels. They're the stars that fell. The ones in Enoch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He names them all. I think it's 22 of them.
Well, I think there was 200, but there was the leaders.
22 leaders. Yeah.
22 that he mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah. Sweet. All right. Let's go. Let's go on to this next video, and then we'll get into the game. So that will be fun. Let's go ahead and pull this up for everyone.
Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and the Arizal and the Kabbalists that followed him, especially in the Hasidic movement, they all said that you'll know Mashiach's coming when there will be a thirst for Kabbalah throughout the world, meaning everyone's going to want to know the mystical aspects of creation, that then you'll know it's time for Mashiach. So it's kind of cool that, here we are in this wild period of Jewish history. I mean, we're in the ultimate period of Jewish history, the Messianic era. We get to be part of it. We're watching it literally unfold in front of our eyes, right beyond this.
The curling
this class you're hearing in Jerusalem is.
I gotta pause it real quick. The freaking Luciferian eye in the background, right?
I know.
The raw eye, and this whole thing, the curls, to me is that's trying to look like a woman to me personally.
Yeah, girly man.
I could not imagine putting a curling iron on my thing. Maybe braiding it into my beard would be the craziest extent I would go, but he can trim his facial hair, but not his
not his little curls though. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has to curl them. Look all. Yeah, so weird. All right, let's keep going.
Temple Mount, like when were Torah classes taught here? We are on the other edge of history. It's really exciting. And all the Kabbalists said that in the end of days there will be a thirst for Kabbalah, and we've all witnessed that as well. And they all said it, like all the key Kabbalists said it. The Baal Shem Tov said it. And, they all said that there will be a great thirst for Kabbalah,
And your parents also told you that Santa Claus was real, and the Easter Bunny was real, and the Tooth Fairy was real, and that God was real, right? That's like this is basically what I take out of what he's saying right here, because it's so it's such a setup. It's such a setup and then a spike in your face.
Yep.
And when the Kabbalah goes out there into the world, that we're going to see redemption. And it's amazing that the generation of Bali Tshuva, which is it was an unprecedented, gigantic wave that hit in 1967. It all began, and interestingly, you know when it all began? There was a date. Do you know the Bali Tshuva movement had a date? Yeah, what was the date?
See how they're mixing
June 5th, 1967. Did you know it had a date?
That was the whole point.
No. The Baal Tshuva movement, the call back to Torah of secular Jews, was June 5th, 1967. And you know what June 5th was, 1967? It was the 6th day of the 6th Sphira, Yisod, Shebi Yisod, when the 6th-day war began.
Oh my gosh, how connected to what what's going on today, right? Like,
yep, exactly.
We see, we see what type of thing they're trying to create, right? Like, we got a good idea of how they treat people who are not a part of the club. And, that doesn't mean that, I don't want to get into the politics of that specific thing going on too much, but it's just so interesting that he brings that up. And we know, Revelation 9, 3:9 it is, those who say they're of this are Jews but are not, but of the synagogue of Satan, right? And so he's saying all their prophets, right, all their false teachers of Kabbalah all said back, when the time comes, all the world's going to be searching for these things. And that's interesting if you think about things getting more evil to the end, because we know in the Kabbalah, Talmud, a lot of other places out there, you got a lot of the Book of Law from Aleister Crowley. You got a lot of sick things that are then permitted because of the magical aspect of them, right? The mystical aspect of them. And so then you connect that and see that all, again, these mystery religions, these secret societies, they all have a similar God. It's, again, a cultural representation, and each of them is crafted in a way that it combines them, because they're combined, they're connected already, just as we saw a little bit ago of Hermes and Anubis, right? Two different empires have two similar gods, that when there is a meeting of the two civilizations, all of a sudden we have a retro where we're saying, okay, now this is Hermanubis, because it's the same thing. So it's quite interesting. That this is above just man, right? We're not struggling against flesh and blood. We're struggling against principalities and, wickedness in high places, right? So this is a plan not of man's, but of the evil ones, in my opinion. So, all right, we'll keep going.
6th day of the 6th Sphira, the 6th-day war. 666. The second category of Kabbalah is meditation. It's using names of God There's many names of God, and you use the names of God and to go on trips, if you will, to trip on the names of God. And to go on these journeys, meditative journeys, you go into meditation and you take these journeys into parallel realms, that which we discussed a little bit, going into these parallel realms and going on these journeys.
What did we discuss?
Just these innocent journeys.
Yeah, what did we discuss about them using the name of God, in all their sigils and their witchcraft, and having to invoke that name in order to do their spells?
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how much that's repeated throughout all their doctrine.
Yeah, it's and they're basically and that very much to me is what using the Lord's name in vain is when you're using His power, His authority for vain purposes. And I think some people, through the mystery religions, through the natural laws that they keep hidden from the general public, have come to this, where that's part of the reason why they show us up front what they're going to do to us. They give us, the propaganda for us to accept it or not, right? They go through this systematic way of indoctrinating people to a specific ideal. And that whole process is a choice, right? And it's whether you accept their offers, whether you believe, right? And for us, we don't believe it because we see the game they're playing. We see the bait and switch. So
different Messiah, different laws. It's totally a totally different belief system that they're under.
And you just said different Messiah, right? And we said how all these occult religions have this singular figure that they're kind of all behind. And, we see them worshiping Apollo, right? Like in the Hippocratic Oath, we have a lot of, the Apollo missions to moon, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But it's right there. So them saying the Messiah, our Messiah, the one we're waiting for, is going to come when Kabbalah is, abound in the world. Just so it seems like it's going to coincide with Nimrod, Apollyon coming out of the ground.
That might be the only thing I agree with him on in this whole video, is that that there might be a thirst for truth right when, or a thirst for Kabbalah, right when the Messiah comes, because it gets pretty hairy.
Yep. Yeah.
It's wrong Messiah.
Yeah. All right, let's keep trucking.
Each one of us is giant, and this, by the way, I'm just going to bring up, it's a separate subject, but this is God's plan, is that you're giant. And you actually happen to also be giant, but this is God's plan, is that God created every single human being, Jew and Gentile, black man, white, B'Tselem Elohim, with the image of God inside of him or her. So every person is giant. But you can't govern people who think that. So what governments have done throughout the world is they push them down and make them small. And so governments throughout the world have pushed down leaders of whole communities. Every country was led by medicine men, by the men who understood the giantness of every individual. Until, of course, the machine comes in. Welcome to the machine. And wipes out whatever Amazon jungle civilization that was, and especially the medicine man, who teaches everyone how big they are. And we are that exact representation. The only difference is God chose us at Sinai to be this nation that's going to cross the finish line. At the end of history, we're going to cross through the tape of the finish line. We are the model nation of the world to tell everyone that every individual is giant. And you'll notice when those same shamanistic substances hit America in the 1960s, it was all legal. What did anyone know from it? And as soon as they discovered that it makes an individual giant, and you realize you can't govern people like that, it immediately got classified as legal. As illegal. These are the guys who founded these companies. And they're like, oh, you want to make that illegal? That's cool, we'll just work in high tech for a while. So they go into high tech, and they created what's called the personal computer, which again, the government didn't know better. It was like, oh, that looks innocent enough. Help yourselves. I remember my first computer with the floppy disks and stuff. We didn't think anything of it. But slowly but surely, it was whittling its way down to the power.
He's telling you his deception right in front of you guys. He's whittling you down to a point.
Whole governments, despots, dictators, torn down with social networking. The power of the individual is back. And it was the same people they put down in the 60s created it.
That guy rollerblades for sure.
It's all part of the process that I've been teaching you guys for a couple weeks now of God shamanizing creation. There's a big part of it, and the biggest part has to do with digital, but we're not going to go there right now.
Oh, look at that. Look at their beautiful little symbol there. I think that's probably the end of the video. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, and he's saying these
music.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I said I love the intense music and all the words he's using, the shamanism and all these big words. Them words cast spells on you.
Yeah, and he specifically called out substances, guys. So he's literally saying, and then he alludes to the 70s and the use of LSD and shrooms and all that. Basically saying that if people go down that route, they realize how giant they are, right? Now that word giant, I honestly think he's calling out Genesis 6 right there. That there were giants in those days. And I think that they're mixing that for that reason to conceptualize that giants were a good thing, right? That they were against the system. And of course they were against the system. They were against the system that the Father created. Very so much is all the things this man is talking about. He is literally pro-sorcery, and he is talking about how sorcery will free you and make you realize that you're the giant.
And not to mention that their theology on reincarnation really applies to the giants. It's not to mankind. It's only to the demonic spirits that are cast out of one body and into another. The entire thing is built around the Nephilim and the relationship between the demigods and mankind, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. They love that stuff. All right, sweet. All right, so let's start a game. So I'm gonna explain this game to y'all, and this is A to Z list of NASA missions. Now, what we're gonna do is I covered A, B, and C. I probably missed tons of them, but yeah. So how we're gonna play this main is we're gonna go through this list A to Z. And, we talked a couple episodes ago specifically about NASA, and now we're all the way to occult scientism. How could these things possibly mix? Well, that's the game. It's called Spot the Grabble. But, so if we go down this list, and, we kind of already mentioned this a little bit earlier, we quickly get to the Apollo missions. So let's look at this. So the Apollo, what's Apollo? So if we pull up here, this is Britannica, right? It says Greco-Roman mythology. Apollo or Apollyon, Greco-Roman mythology, a deity of manifold function and meaning, one of the widely revered and influential of all the ancient Greek and Roman gods. Though his origin natural is obscure from the time of Homer onward, he was the god of divine distance, who sent or threatened from afar, the god who made men aware of their own guilt and purified them of it, who presided over the religious law and the constitutions of cities, and who communicated with mortals through prophets and oracles. his knowledge of the future and his will of his father, Zeus, Jupiter. Even the gods feared him, and only his father and his mother, Leto, could easily endure his presence. He was also a god of crops and herds, primarily as a divine bulwark against wild animals and diseases, as his Greek epithet, exverter of evil, indicates. His forename Phoebus means bright or pure, and the view became current and was connected with the sun. See heliocentric model. I added that whole Helios, but heliocentric model. But this is Helios, the heliocentric model, right? It's all about Helios. Everything revolves around Helios, Apollyon, Apollo, Apollyon.
Who is Nimrod?
There you go.
So here's another example. Here's another example, and we got Archimedes. What's Archimedes, guys? Let's see what Britannica has to say. Archimedes is a Greek goddess. Artemis is a Greek religion, the goddess of the wild animals, the hunt and vegetation of chastity and childbirth. She was identified by the Romans with Diana. Archimedes was the daughter of Zeus and Leto and was the twin sister of Apollyon. Among the rural populace, Artemis was a favorite goddess. Her character and function varied greatly place to base, but apparently behind all the forms lay the goddess of the wild nature who danced, usually accompanied by nymphs, in mountains, forests, and marshes. Archimedes embodied the sportsman ideal, so besides killing game, she also protected it, especially the young. This was the Homeric significance of the title of mistress of animals. The worship of Archimedes probably flourished in the Crete or on the Greek mainland in pre-Hellenic times. Many of Archimedes' local cults, however, preserve traces of other deities, often with the Greek names, suggesting that upon adopting her, the Greeks identified Archimedes with divine natural divinities of their own. The virginal sister of Apollon is very difficult from the many-breasted Archimedes of the Ephesians, for example. So more connections with other cultures with this. So why are they naming sorry, let me bring this back up. Why are they naming missions to the moon Archimedes? She's the god of the moon. Pretty interesting. So there's another example, guys. Then we got here, let me pull this up. Got all these Atlas missions down here. Let's see what Atlas is, according to the Britannica. Atlantis, in Greek mythology, son of the Titan Iapis and of the Ocead Cymerman, or Asia, and the brother of Prometheus, creator of humankind. In Homer Odyssey, Book 1, Atlas seemed to have been a marine creature who supported the pillars that held the heavens and the earth apart. So, of course, they have it depicted here as a ball, right? And that's now changed as a globe. Something really interesting about that, though, is he is a aquatic animal that or aquatic creature, right? Who holds the heavens and the earth apart, that separate the waters which above. So some echoing there of truth, but of course false.
Newt.
Go ahead.
I was saying, like Newt in Egyptian mythology, like the sky personified.
Yep. Same dealio. All right, we got some C1. So maybe real quick, special mention, Bereshit. Guess who sent this mission? I'll let y'all check it out later. But we got the so here's a good this looks like something. Let's look this up. So Chandra Chandarian. But if you do Chandra Sanskrit, Chandra, shining or moon, also known as Soma, Sanskrit, is the Hindu god of the moon and is associated with the night, plants, and vegetation. He is one of the Nirgava, 9 planets of Hinduism, and Dipaka, guardians of the direction. The word Chandra literally means bright, shining, or glittering, and is used for the moon in Sanskrit and other Indian languages. It is also the name of various other figures in Hindu mythology, including an Ashra and a Savanavamasha king. It is also a common Indian name and surname. Both male and female name variations exist in the South Asian languages that originate from Sanskrit. So we're not going to get into the whole thing, but of course we got another god, the god of the moon, that just so happens to be a mission that NASA was a part of. And so here we're at C, guys. We're going to scroll down through this a little bit, talk about NASA in general as well as other things. But if you see something that you think might be something, shout it out, and we'll do a little look-see and see what we can find. Everyone get it? Oh wait, I got one more for you. So we got this Clementine. We got this Clementine right here. Let's look up Clementia, and she was let's see here. She was defined as the celebratory virtue of Julius Caesar, who was the fame for her forbearance, especially following. Oh, that's not the one. Okay, cult. There's not much information surrounding Clementaria's cult. It would also seem that she was merely an abstraction of a particular virtue, one that was revered in conjunction in revering Caesar and the Roman state. Clementia was seen as the good trait within a leader. It is also the Latin word for humanity or forbearance. This is supposed to be civitia, which was savagery and bloodlust. Yet she was the Roman counterpart of Helios, not to be confused with Sorteria, the Greek goddess of mercy and forgiveness, who had a shrine in Athens. So, not specifically a god herself, but someone who deified a person or a virtue, used a person as an idol to show that virtue. So those are all my my hints or my demonstrations. So we're gonna go through this and if y'all see something, let's search it up and see what we find. All right, y'all ready?
Okay, now what is this? The game is what?
So the game is to look through these words and see what do you think that it could possibly be. Be like, hey, I think, So we got a Da Vinci. We got the dart. We know about that. The double asteroid redirection test. Dragonfly. That's some graveler there.
What do we do? We looking for Nimrod?
I don't know what we're looking for.
We're looking for terms or words that are gods.
Oh, they're gods.
Look at all these. Expedition 67. Ooh. Like Fermi. Do y'all think so? Like that? I bet you if we look up Fermi mythology, there'll be something. Let's look it up. Okay. Fermi is not Fermi's. It's not.
I got an answer. What is Greek mythology for 600?
All right. Oh, we got some Gemini there. We got some Galilea there. Let's see what else we got.
Grail, oh my God.
Grail. Ebb and flow. Gravity recovery and interior laboratory. Ooh. Helios. There we go. We already know who that is. We literally just talked about it. They love this stuff. I even wonder like this, like Incas. Is Incas something? I feel like they would do that. I feel like they would give something an acronym. So it wants to correct to incubus. When I search that word.
Oh well.
In Hakos.
Form of probably.
Oh, this is very close. So in Kus. So it's not exactly the same spelling. Incus, but when I searched that in mythology, this popped up. Most ancient god of hero of Argus, right? So just the Greek in it. That's interesting. The connection. Let's keep going. Sorry that y'all didn't even see that. Isis, right? Like that's an example. Isis.
Yeah.
ISS. Like they're saying ISIS even if they're not trying to. Janus. Juno. There we go. Juno is Saturn, guys. Let's look at this.
Well, Janus is a god too.
Pull this up for y'all. 1 second. Juno mythology was an ancient Roman goddess. This progenitor. Look at this. I'm gonna open this up in Wikipedia. Grabblepedia. Was an ancient Roman goddess, the protector and special counselor of the state. She was equated to Hera, queen of the gods in the Greek mythology, and a goddess of love and marriage, a daughter of Saturn and of Ops. Saturn, Jupiter. She was the sister and wife of Jupiter.
Sister.
Yeah, so she's associated with Saturn. Let's just gander. Let's open this in a new tab. So just to make sure you all saw the Juno, right? That is a name of a mission. And then if we click on that, oops, click the wrong one. If we click on Juno, let's see what Juno went. Oh my gosh, Juno is the probing beneath Jupiter's dense clouds. Guys, oh my God. Juno is probing beneath Jupiter's dense clouds to answer questions about the origin and evolution of Jupiter, our solar system, and giant planets across the cosmos.
You know what? I don't believe it.
Remember, Juno is the sister and wife of Jupiter. Guys, this is soft core right here. You know what I mean? Like, I literally think that they do that. And we have live, guys. We have live footage from Jupiter coming through to you through radio waves, through the void of space.
Is the camera just falling beside it?
Yeah, they actually, that's Juno 1, and then they have Juno 2, that's attached by a long, like a really long Zeet, like super long.
Got it.
It's like so long that you have to notice how long it is. But they digitally take it out just so it's, you don't see it.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. I see that.
Oh my God! Oh, sorry, y'all aren't seeing the screen. I apologize. Here's live, guys. This is live from Jupiter.
Oh, you're talking about it. No one's been seeing it.
Yeah, I apologize. It's so ridiculous, guys. This is live. This is live footage. Oh my Lanta. All right, let's skip this. Just keep going. We got through J. Kaiguya. That sounds like it would be
Zapier.
Huh?
I was just reading the name. Zapier.
Where do you see Zapier?
Never mind. Sorry. That's okay. I can't see the screen. Sorry.
I can't.
Yeah, hey, click on here. Click it. Literally, click it. Click the camera.
Yeah,
Did that make it bigger for you?
No, that's what I was looking at anyway.
Oh.
It's
I'm
just
sorry that you can't read it. Maybe I can.
Well, you're.
Oh, there you go.
Does that make it
you see
easier,
it, Miss Marco?
Yes. Yes.
There we go.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Lucy
in the sky with diamonds.
Yeah.
I know who Lucy is.
Lucy.
Magellan, well, he's not a god, but
definitely a mythology.
Mars.
Mars, right? Look, there's the Mars.
No, up a little. Mars cube 1. Cube.
Yeah,
anyway.
Interesting. But Mars, right? Like even the name of the
That's
planet is a Greek god. Jupiter is a Greek god. You know, it's like those are all straight up in our face anyways. And why would they why wouldn't they go like, "Oh, we don't want any connection with all that old pagan stuff. We'll give them all new names. We'll have, you know,
this is science."
Yeah, this is Aflamacal tackle, you know, that's the scientific name of each plant, you know, and they'll. Why didn't they do that? They did that with animals.
No, they're like, we tried, but then we named all our periodic table after gods too, so it just made up more gods.
Well, even Muse is it's not a god, but it is
it's in mythology.
Term.
Yeah, it is in mythology. It is part of the esoteric, belief system. So there's some of these words like
Nimbus. I mean, that's almost like a new.
Nimbus is a god, I thought.
Maybe.
An Egyptian god, I thought.
I don't know. I was thinking Anuba. I don't know.
Oh, here's something.
Witches.
Yeah, so Nozomi, if we search that in mythology, is Nozomi Witches, is a former actress who moves back to Japan from New Zealand. Upon arriving, she meets her. So that's interesting that came up. Oh, look at this.
Nimbus.
Why is that popping up?
Yeah, Nimbus is also one, I believe. But
yeah, try Nimbus. I mean, you can't be the only one who plays this game, Vader. Choose one of ours.
What was this? Nimbus?
Yeah.
It's in there.
Yeah. Let's search it. Dark cloud is a cloud classified. Okay, that's just.
Oh, it's a what?
Nimbus,
it's a cloud.
The nimbus or halo, usually pictured as a luminous figure around the head of a god or holy person.
That's right.
Is clearly related in some instances to the sun and the solar divinities.
Okay.
So why do y'all think that there's so much? Oh, Oracle.
Yeah. Orion. Yeah, Oracle, Orion, Osiris.
Oh, Osiris. What's Osiris, guys? I've never heard that before. Let's go see what Osiris is. There's no way it could have anything to do with any type of like pagan
god.
Just
a shoe company, bro. Yeah, it's just a shoe company.
It's a skater shoe company. All right, well, let's see. Osiris is the god of fertility, agriculture, the afterlife, the dead, resurrection, life, and vegetation in the ancient Egyptian religion. What the heck? How does that have anything to do with Osiris Rex? Oh, my Lanta. I just realized that. Oh, my gosh. Phoenix, they love the Phoenix. Psyche, yeah, Psyche Punch. That's Project Mercury. Wait, what's Mercury? Mercury. Oh, we know that's a planet and also a Greek god. Interesting. Reshi. Let's see what this is.
The Rosetta Stone.
Did you see something? I will totally go back one
No, I just saw Rosetta. And I'm just thinking of the Rosetta Stone. I'm not thinking of myth. I'm thinking of alchemy.
I'm sure that word means like the beginning or something along those lines.
There's nothing for this one, so looks like it's just a grabble. Let's keep going.
Sage. That's a witch.
Yep, sage. Absolutely. Sakigaki.
Sakigaki.
That's what it looks like. I totally keep misspelling that every time.
Yeah.
Japan's first interplanetary spacecraft. Pathfinder, Harbinger. Interesting.
Olympus goes with sucky right there.
Mm-hmm.
Olympus sucky gate. Whatever.
Well. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is something. This is from Oxford University.
Oh, well, they know everything.
Well, what I'm just saying is, right, so it's an academic paper, it's like, maybe not an academic paper per se, but let's see. It says it says, description of mythological tropes seen in Murakami fiction and how these are related both to psychological themes seen in chapter 2 and the links to structure in chapter 1. This is also explores how a kind of hybrid mythology is constructed from the Murakami used to examine between fate and free will. Interesting. That it just brought that up. All right, well, let's keep going. Sophia.
Sophia.
That's for sure one.
Wisdom, yeah. Exactly. Source.
Yeah.
Spirit. Look at that spirit. Mars.
Spirit. The spirit of Mars. Yeah.
Stardust.
They love that. Yep.
Stardust. Stardust, everyone.
Throw a little.
Sunrise. Tsunami. Suzuku. I'm not sure. Right, we're getting into T's. This seems like it would be something. Maybe Greek. I'm gonna check it out real quick and then show y'all over here on the stream if it is or isn't. It sure is. Look at this. Themis. So look at that. Like they literally have it. Time history of events and micro scale interactions during substorms.
God.
Oh, that just so happens to be the acronym that is also a Greek mythology and religion. Themis, justice, law, custom, is the goddess and personification of justice, divine order, law, and custom.
It's the same guys who put up the Lucifer telescope. They just get unlucky with it.
Yeah. It's just completely coincidental that it ends up as that. This looks like something Tyros. Let's look this up.
Nope.
Nope.
So it says Tyros. It's just missing the S.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. Was the daughter of King of. So it's just interesting. So some of these are like, oh, okay, it's not exact, but there is some tie in some way to mythology for a lot of these.
Something that we may not see also.
Yeah, totally. Truth, lies.
Wonder when those Van Allen probe missions went up.
Yeah. Yeah, Orion.
After the moon landing?
Yeah, after the moon landing. They didn't know about it, so obviously it didn't affect them.
Know about it.
They did back then. Not back then.
So yeah, all right, guys. So I'm sure there's more in there that we missed. So maybe go try it yourself and see what else you can find. But definitely, there's a reason why they're putting these names as they are, right? Because it's one and the same. They connected to each other from the very inception. We saw through the Kabbalah how they literally have predicted these things for thousands of years, and we see the special boy, those eyes light up when they're like, oh, I love Kabbalah because that tells me that there's a God of this world, and there's a savior of this world, and it's of the world, not in the world. So if you get what I'm saying there, yeah. So I hope y'all have enjoyed the episode tonight. We just want to continue painting this picture, guys, that all this is connected. There's nothing new under the sun. And a lot of these things, were paid for through history for us to have these circumstances and these events and this so-called truth that we live in, for all of this stuff to happen. And a lot of that started with, with royal families. We know a lot of the mystery religions were kind of protected within those royal families. And so we're going to be getting into that next week. Look forward to that, and the following week's streams get posted here tomorrow. So I hope y'all have enjoyed the show. We're going to go ahead and say our goodbyes and wind it down for the night. And remember, in about 15 minutes, if you join the Discord, you can join the after show. And it's just a place where we can kind of talk unfiltered, uncensored, and anyone is welcome. Check the link in the description to our Discord server, and we'll get you all set up if you'd like to join that. That being said, guys, let's go ahead and say our goodbyes, and we will get out of here. I'll go to you, Marsha, first. Go ahead and say our goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. It's been fun, and Vader's game was interesting. Didn't know what we were doing for a while, did we, Kyle? Couldn't see it.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't explain that well enough. We were looking for. See, I see this arc task. Like, I guarantee you, there's something there. Like, you look at these abbreviations, like we did. It's literally so dumb. Themis, acceleration, reconstruction, turbulence, and electrodynamics of the moon interaction with the sun. And it just so happens to be a Greek god. How coincidental.
Greek goddess. Yep.
Yeah. And so, that's the point, guys, is they're mixing these things for a reason, and it is a way to deceive you. They are giving you an offer. Do you believe? Do you believe in their lies? Or are you going to believe in the truth? And so where do we seek the truth? We use the scriptures. We use Bible Hub. We use Bible Gateway to, look at those things and build our foundation from the word of the living God, not from men who changed their opinions to meet that of the God. So, I'll jump over to you, Kyle. Thanks for being here, brother. Love to hear you say your goodbyes.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope it's made it pretty clear that these individuals who claim they come up with these conclusions on purely scientific reasons have exposed themselves tonight and their predecessors, and stated the fact that all these things are also found in these ancient mystical texts that they read. And people like Isaac Newton and Copernicus were all familiar with these texts. Everything from the macro to the micro in their models are a mystical analysis that doesn't whatsoever imply reality or what's found in the scripture. So I hope it's encouraging that these people are not to be taken as some gods we need to worship because they're scientists, but they're valuable men who apparently can't even come up with their own ideas because they steal them from ancient mystical books.
Yep.
So with that, I'd like to say shalom, everyone. It's good to be here. See you all on the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's ridiculous how they do that, right? Because it's they basically treat people who believe in a god like we saw in that one of those first videos. That it's dumb, right? That we have to create that mythology in order for us to continue on in our existence. But you see the kind of evolution of that is, God is there, but it's this different type of God. It's not all these made up gods, and then they mix in, and then Kabbalah, they got these substances, and then they started realizing all these things. And it just so happens that those same scientists are calling out to gods and calling out to things. I want to show one last thing. I did pull this up real quick before we go. Is this, right? So completely different, quote unquote, part of science. But this is, as you see, is on the CERN website, cds.cern.ch. It says on 18th of June, CERN unveiled an unusual new landmark, a 2-meter tall statue of the Indian deity Lord Shiva. Okay, we got the director general and the doctor, whatever, and these people watching like this, signing the guest book. Okay, this is a whole celebration for this place. Now, what is Shiva? Shiva is also known as Mahadeva, right? The great god is the one of the principal deities of Hinduism and the supreme being in Shaivism, one of the major traditions within Hinduism. Shiva is also known as the destroyer within the Talmud tree and Hindu trinity, which also includes Brahma and Vishnu. Can I get an underline of the Trinity?
Exactly.
So, of course, they're going to have their statues, their idols, marking their locations, marking their beliefs. This is no different. Look into I don't have it pulled up, but do yourself not a favor. Look up this logo of CERN. You'll see the 666. The just so happened difference of the tilt of the Earth is just same thing. Whoa, it's like it's all connected. So I wanted to show that real quick. But that being said, guys, I'll let Frankie say it, and I'll finish us off, and then we'll go ahead and close it up. I know I can keep rambling, so let me go ahead and stop sharing. And Frankie B, brother, thanks for joining us, and say your goodbyes.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Just remember, everything you've ever been told is a lie. Dig deep, find the truth, because the truth is out there for anyone who does want to know. But if you just keep on believing everything you hear, you're not going to finish the race. So we're all running a race. We're just trying to live the best life we can, honoring Yah and giving all glory to him, and just, speaking the truth and living the truth. So seek on, my brothers. And have a great week. And Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Seeking, just fellow seekers searching for those puzzle pieces of truth. All right, guys.
Back and laugh.
Yeah. And, so we showed you these men, right? We showed you their beliefs. We showed you, what their core, their foundation is. And so what does that mean? Well, we kind of alluded to other guys. Our fight is not against flesh and blood, right? It is about these ideas, right? Which are the inceptions of demons, right? We heard the substances and the mixture of the ideas coming from the substances in Kabbalah. So, we know that there's more than, just this realm, right? They want to call it dimensions and multiverses. But the real point to say, guys, is greater is again who is in us than he who is in the world. So even though these things exist, we see it in there. We should be able to use these to call out to the truth, to use the word to show to others, look, the world says this, well, the Father says this. It is evident that that is the way it is. And so even though these these topics are dark and we're talking about pagan gods and science, it's there for a reason. So thank you all for joining us. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. That really does go a huge way into helping the channel grow. And like we always do, we will read off the comments in the next video. So another way that your voice can get heard. But other than that, guys and ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and call it a night. Until next time, remember that ABBA love you first, everybody. Have a great
night, all.
Great week coming up.
It's your glory, conceal the mystery. The honor to search a matter out. You raise up a standard to beat back our enemy. You establish this realm